How you doing, Jeffrey?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good. Got still climbing in my 50K challenge here. So doing good.
Nice, nice. We got some industrials looking good today. All of the aerospace companies and defense companies. I was trying to scan through here. Are there any aerospace companies that are maybe not at all-time highs? Because all Kratos, LMT, NOC, they're all way way higher than I don't want to buy these. But I mean, maybe they go higher if the government's taking a stake in these companies. Kind of hard to beat. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard that news that Lutnick was saying that they might be taking stakes like they did in MP Materials, uh, and then INTC Intel with defense companies like Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, I actually took a position on Intel with INTW yesterday. That's the 2x leverage. Just shares, just small exposure. Looking for about a 60% upside or so, 30% on Intel. Not
Yeah,
looking for crazy pop, but the government's getting in. There's some other excitement. There's some large call volume out in time. So maybe somebody knows something. Maybe not. Maybe I'll lose money.
yeah. I wanted it to get back down to the nine a little bit. Just one of the EMAs before I go long. But I mean, it is like so sold off. I mean, it does have some more room to run. I kept on thinking MP Materials would cut, that was like the first one they announced. I kept on thinking that was like, oh, this, you
I'm
know,
gonna I'm gonna ask my AI, are there any aerospace companies that are not at all-time highs that provide opportunity to
you
invest?
know,
Let's see what it does. I'll get back to you in
MP
a
MP
minute.
Materials popped when the government said they were gonna nationalize it, basically. And I was like, oh, okay, well, they'll probably, I mean, the market's not gonna like that. But then it popped again, and it's just been going up. And I'm like, dang it, man, I should have just bought MT at 42, 43. Um,
Yeah, if nobody's ever seen one of these AI agents, I got it kind of playing on the background of my video there. It'll sit here and Google and look and all sorts of things. It's not just like a LLM where you just talk to it like ChatGPT. This thing actually goes and does its own research, and then it'll ask me follow-up questions if it has questions about what I asked it to do. It's just crazy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You coded it yourself?
No, this is called Manus. I actually pay for a subscription to it.
Hmm.
Um, I actually give it like articles. I'm like, hey, go dig up all the information on this topic, and it'll like take it and run with it, and do research for me in real time. It's not like it's not limited to anything. It can Google, it can run a computer by itself, it can build websites, it can do
What's it
all sorts of
called?
stuff. It's called Manus. I can give you an invite link to it later if you just remind me.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really helpful, actually. I'm tired of doing research. I'm
Yeah.
tired of doing research for myself, dude. I want somebody to hand it to me.
Yeah, this thing does. I mean, it'll build you a report if you want to report. Like, build me a
Yeah,
report on XYZ, and it'll just do it. Like, it's crazy.
yeah,
Um,
that's dope. No, definitely. I would love that if you wouldn't mind. Send me that invite. Play with it. Doug, yeah, look, maybe the trade for $20,000 tomorrow will come in today's session. Who's to say, man? Maybe even it will be INTW. Maybe Intel will pop. So one thing, these tech companies, whether it's Intel, CoreWeave, ah, CoreWeave's looking at like a nice little base here. But it's risky because NVIDIA is reporting after hours tomorrow. Um, and I don't know what's going to happen because Nvidia is has to post blockbuster results, you know? Uh I don't know, Jeffrey. Feel
did you
like
see?
if it's not amazing.
You probably don't keep up with Chinese stock market, but Cambricon became the biggest stock in China this week in
It's
or
not
last week.
Labubu, it's not
No,
pop.
It's Cambricon, Cambricon, and it it actually makes chips similar to NVIDIA. They had only like 3% market share before we started limiting NVIDIA's ability to send chips. Now
Mm,
they own over 50% market share in Chinese market for AI chips. And they're actually making some GPUs and stuff that compete with NVIDIA stuff. And it's kind of crazy. It's what happens when we limit. NVIDIA did have 95% market share in China, but now they've dropped down to like 50%.
that happened in like 2 weeks.
Well, this actually happened since this started in 2022 when Biden started restricting NVIDIA exports,
Right.
and it's ramped up since then. So it's been kind of a 3 year in the making thing. But
Interesting. I mean, I feel like a lot of the Nvidia stuff has to depend on China. I mean, I guess the American, demand will affect it too, but
yeah,
the resumption.
since September, this Cambricon stock is up 562%.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you trade a lot of Chinese stocks?
I just keep up with, I keep my pulse on it just to see. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily trade in China much, unless I have this like China has this different view on lying than we do in the United States, and to them, it's you can lie about your business numbers and it'd be a competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Uh, so you know, it reminds me of, like, I don't know if you were part of the Luckin Coffee blowout several 4 years ago, but I got caught in that one,
I
and
wasn't part of it, but I watched it.
yeah, I was lucky to get some calls right before they got delisted, and then they got relisted right before my calls expired.
Oh, nice. You kind
I
of got lucky.
actually got out like just barely, scratched out of that one, and so it's just a different concept of lying, and you know, for people that don't necessarily understand it, it's difficult. But if you invest in anything Chinese, you got to know that the numbers could just be all made up.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean. That's my always my bull case with American equities is it's like, okay, you go to Europe, they're an open air museum, they don't have an economy. You go to China, they're lying about everything, you can't trust them. America, it's the best of the worst, right? You got rule of law, they're not gonna, the government's not going to kidnap a CEO and re-educate him for a month. Um, So that's why people move to U.S. equities. The nationalization stuff is interesting because it's not really nationalization. The government's not really taking it over, but this is a departure from like how we've operated in the past with all of our companies. Um, but it is interesting to see how that will affect like faith in the markets of America. Cambricon, I don't know what I just typed it in. It's some like digits.
Yeah,
688256.
on TradingView, yeah. On the Shanghai Stock Exchange, SSE.
688. I don't know. Is that what it is on like Thinkorswim or something?
I don't know if you can get it on Thinkorswim. You'd have to have data from the Shanghai Stock Exchange
Okay.
to be able to see it. So,
Interesting. Well, I guess I wonder if it'll keep on going up or if NVIDIA will take out market share. Which chips are supposed to be better? Are they basically parity?
well, I mean, they're still playing catch up at this point, but they own the Chinese market share, which is the second largest economy out there. So, if you're, you know, if you're becoming number one in your own home economy, and the government can like tell people you got to buy from them, that's a competitive advantage right there over Nvidia. Nvidia can
Yeah.
own the rest of the world, but you know, so it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, that is. What do you think about Bava here?
I don't like that lower highs thing. Jack and I keep talking about that, kind of a downtrend with lower highs and lower highs.
But you have
That's
higher lows.
higher lows, but it does concern me. I call it a watermelon seed squeeze pattern when there's higher lows and lower highs because it's squeezing from both directions. And just like a slimy watermelon seed, when you squeeze it, you're not exactly sure which direction it's going to
Yeah,
go. So
kind of a wedge, honestly.
could break out, could break down.
Yeah, interesting.
Looks like my AI likes LMT, Lockheed Martin, 26% off the 52-week high.
Is it? Oh yeah. Interesting.
So
What's what's the weekly?
there there's an aerospace opportunity right there.
Do you swing trade at all, or do you just do the options and stuff? I guess you swing trade the leverage
Yeah,
ticket, but do you just do the underlying shares like a regular ticket?
primarily I am a swing trader. You know,
Uh,
I don't tend to gravitate toward day trading that much. And I'm not big on position trading because it just ties up a bunch of money for a long time. And I mean, you can make big money, but I find swing trading is my sweet spot. You know, three weeks to 3 months is kind of my swing trading time frame. So the majority of stuff. Now, I can turn a swing trade into a longer term position by keep making smaller trades against it or with it. But generally, I'm just looking to be in a trade for a few weeks to a few months and then move on to other
yeah,
opportunity.
yeah,
I feel like the biggest moves kind of play out in that 3 week to 3 month time frame.
yeah. It's that's cool. Do you double it up with options, or do you just do the underlying?
I'm all over the place. It really depends on the opportunity. So this goes back to a bigger conversation about what I do actually when I trade for myself and my family. Um, I have I have different pots of money. I probably trade in 20 different accounts. I trade for my parents, my wife, me, my retirement accounts, and then I have cash accounts. And you know, the biggest chunk of money I have that's taxable, I do my 50K challenge, which is, what I showed at the beginning there. Um, and for the majority of that money, I'm doing the wheel strategy that we've talked here, selling puts, obtaining the shares, selling calls against them. And then, I have smaller taxable trading accounts that I do some of my other trades in, especially as I issue them out to followers, my gold rush trades, my triple threat trades, my Apollo trades, I do lots of different things that all kind of go together. And what a lot of people don't really realize when they follow me is like I've got all these systems, but they're for the market goes in these cycles, and all my different systems have a part of the cycle that they work the best in, and I kind of rotate through which ones I'm doing more heavily, and then less heavily, and I guess a lot of the followers have a tough time with that unless they get my all access package where they get to see the entire thing and watch me flow from one thing to the next thing as the market opportunity presents. As we're sitting here grinding at all-time highs, we're not really in a trend at all. We're just kind of
No,
been going sideways for over a year now. And it's kind of frustrating to try to make any money as a trend pullback continuation trader, which is what I am. I go for trend pullback continuation, and that's kind of my sweet spot in the market. And so, you know, it can be tough.
it's
So I play options when the
heck of a way to make
opportunity,
a living.
when the opportunity presents, I trade options. When the opportunity is on, doing the wheel, I'm all in on the wheel. And I feel like the wheel can kind of transcends all markets though, because you're playing opportunities. And I take that wheel and I adjust it and call it the turbo wheel because I chase extremely bullish opportunities that I use my technical trend pullback continuation pattern to find. And a lot of people are like, well, how do you find those? And it gets into a bigger conversation about Elliott wave theory and all the work I sit here and do in the background. But anyway, I
Interesting.
digress. I digress. So I've been at this for a long time, and I find it hard to get somebody up to speed with where I'm at.
How old are you?
Uh, just a measly 40, let's see what I turned this year, 45, 46, 46. Turned 46 this year.
You don't look a day over 41.
I tell you, man. But I started trading in third grade, so playing the paper trade game when I was 8 back in the 80s. So it's when we used to get newspapers quoted in fractions, and we'd mail in our orders and then get them back a few weeks later. I mean, I know I'm young, and there's people older than me. I trade with people that are 90. I mean, like in my group, and they're smart as a whip. And so I don't profess to be the smartest person. I just figured some stuff out that I can repeat over and over and over. And I spent a long time this morning talking on my YouTube stream about high probability patterns. Most people don't put statistics to it. And I've actually back tested my pattern across all time frames. And I have hundreds of thousands of back tests on this trend pullback continuation pattern. When it meets certain criteria, it is 75% likely to do this next move between the 618 and the 1.1448, which is 90% of the way to the 1272. Gets confusing, all the numbers I'm throwing out there, but I have hundreds of thousands of tests on this. And no matter the time frame, it takes 45 candles on average for this to play out, but the standard deviation on it is high at 35 candles. So to encompass 99% of the time, it takes about 150 candles for this to play out. Now, 150 candles on a 1 minute time frame, that's like 3 hours. 150 candles on a daily time frame, that's like 210 calendar days because the candle maker is not open on the weekends. It takes a while. 150 candles on a weekly chart, that's like 3 years. So, you know, this is a pattern that I trade and I love it. But you got to remember what time frame you're on, and then you can stack multiple time frames together and get a bigger potential trade. You can trade a daily pattern, but you can drop down to the 1 minute chart and get in and out, in and out, in and out, as long as the daily trade is staying in the pattern and have confidence. So it's when I do the turbo wheel, I'm kind of combining multiple time frames together to find these patterns that I'm trading, like the Rocket Lab trade I broke down here that I grabbed a piece of back in July. And I just do this stuff over and over.
Very interesting. What do
I,
you?
I I don't know much about you, but that's kind of me in a nutshell at this point.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, man. So with all that analysis, what do you think about going long LMT here? I mean, I feel like on the monthly, weekly, so monthly when we have a good trend, we just dipped below the 50, which is not stellar. Actually, we're above the 50 now, I guess, on the month. We did dip below it. Now we're reaching above it on the weekly at
Now,
the strong base here.
pull yourself back out just a little bit so you can see the 2018 low. And you see, if you run a trend line off of those lows, that big spike down, the big spike down, and the current big spike down, you've got a nice uptrend of lows intact here, which is
Yeah.
an uptrend. And we're just hanging out right here. If we can show any sign of bullishness, like break back through that little consolidation we did earlier this year, where we kind of make tops around 480, if we break through that, that could be very bullish for a new all-time high on Lockheed Martin.
You think you would wait until that happens?
Me personally, I would take a small risk now and stop out if we made a new low. If I was going to do this, I'd probably do some more analysis than this is just very high level looking at this daily and weekly chart really quickly. I'd probably dive down even deeper and see what the price structure is off of the low we just made there last month, and try to glean any kind of feeling off of this, which at this point, the structure is not bad, and it looks like it could go higher. We do have a gap down off of that 460 area, and similar to like I was talking about gap last week, we'll probably fill that gap, and then we may react negatively off of it because gap downs have a psychological thing to them where people were buying at the top of that, people were buying that stock before it gapped down.
Yeah.
For every seller, there's a buyer. For every buyer, there's a seller. Somebody was buying when we gapped down right there, the day before. And then we gapped down big and we dropped down even, that was a pretty huge move from 460 all the way down to the lows at 410. Conceivably, somebody was like, I'm going to double down on this drop. I was super convinced we were at a bottom. Now we're even better prices. I'm doubling down. And the longer this goes before we get back up to that 460 area, the more those type of people that double down just want to get out. I just want my money back. I want to get out and be free. So when we finally fill that gap, very often we'll see a negative reaction off of that because of those people just getting out. I just want my money back. I want to get out. I entered at a poor time, whatever. And so I commonly see that a lot on.
Kind of lines up with the volume shelf too, which I always thought if you break over that volume shelf, then you kind of got some new support, and then you can move up.
Yeah. So that's, that 480 area is a really interesting area where if we can get through it, large upside potential. You could play now with a smaller risk and then add it's always wise to add to a trade that's winning, not to a trade that's losing.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't what was it
Don't double
called?
down on losers.
Double down on losers. Yeah.
If a trade's a loser, it's kind of like, would you go double your bet down on a horse in a race that was losing, or the NASCAR guy that's at the end of the race? Like, it's not necessarily the best idea to bet on the guy that's behind already. Whereas if they're already moving to the front of the pack and they've got, everything's looking pretty good, there aren't warning signs showing up, there aren't dark clouds on the horizon, then, as Jack said, bet on the jockey and the horse and, keep performing. So that's why like the 52-week highs stocks are kind of attractive too. Things making new 52-week highs tend to keep outperforming.
Yeah. 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 Just go with the
Also interesting though, whatever sector is the poorest performer this year is highly unlikely to continue to be the poorest performer next year. So healthcare has been pretty beat up the first 6 months, unlikely to be the worst performer the second 6 months, and likely to be not necessarily top of the pack, but at least middle of the pack next year as far as what it does. We just don't see the same sector usually beat up year after year.
yeah. Yeah. People are saying, I mean, with Buffett taking a UNH stake, it's like Lily's kind of recovering. There's definitely some lights in the healthcare sector. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put LMT on the watch list. I might actually go into this now a little bit.
Yeah, a reduced risk way to play would be to buy like at the money or slightly out of the money, long call, and then sell a call slightly above it. And if we get bullishness, that reduces your cost and you catch that bullish move. I'd probably stay in that below that 460 gap down area. If you look at the
Yeah.
daily chart, there was a gap down there. On the weekly chart, it fills it in, but there is a gap down on the daily chart there. The last earnings were, I guess, perceived as bad. Missed on the top, missed on the bottom. By
So I mean, the thesis is like the technical analysis is all well and good, but like, is the government just going to take a stake in LMT? Seems
they could,
well, and I know,
it's.
but if that happens, like, look what happened. Intel didn't do as well as MP Materials, but MP Materials popped. I think Intel will pop.
I don't think we've seen the whole story for Intel yet. I think there's a bigger story going on that we're not necessarily a party of yet. So I think there's something else going on there.
What do
Because
you
why would they take a 10% stake if there's not something else going on? So I think there's a bigger plan in the works, where they're trying to work a deal with somebody, or I'm not sure what the deal is.
Hmm. Yeah, there is that gap right here. Big old gap.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was talking about. That large gap. Once we fill that and we're free and clear of the gap, then the upside can look pretty good on LMT.
All right, well, this is going on the watch list. We'll see. I'm gonna think about it after the call more, think about it more. Let's keep on yeah, I've been trying to do more swing trading, man. I've just been like I like vibe scanning. Vibe
I'm,
coding,
st-
vibe scanning.
I'm still bullish on Gap, and it's still been performing, grinding higher. Been talking about it for 2 weeks now. Coming
Yeah.
on up.
Yeah, Gap. I guess they're not going to be hurt by de minimis exemptions. Dude, Shopify, I feel like is way overvalued after that.
Yeah, Shopify does have some exposure to that on the international front. So we'll see what happens on Friday with that one,
But
or
Gap
starting
probably
on
gets its
Friday.
clothes from Vietnam or something, right?
Yeah, I think they probably you can look at my underwear. Maybe
Hmm.
Indonesia.
Yeah, I don't think it's China.
It's definitely not China. They have their own mills for like Gap and Banana Republic, and they're pretty locked in on should we make clothes here? I don't know. Like that's a low tech, low um high labor type of thing. I'm not sure that's there's opportunity for that to be automated.
Yeah.
If we could figure out how to automate clothing manufacture, we could like eliminate the labor cost in that and bring down It was not going to bring down high cost labels, but Gap probably won't go down, but Banana Republic could go down. That's their discount brand, and so it's interesting. It's interesting when you start talking about replacing labor with robots, and this is something that Elon's been talking about as we deploy these humanoid robots and other robots. Like Amazon's been replacing a lot of their warehouse staff with robots. You can get the labor cost down to 10 cents an hour to feed a robot power, basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, that brings your, highest kind of from a company standpoint, one of the highest variable costs, labor,
Hmm.
just maintaining. It's not just what you pay them per hour, though. It's, the healthcare costs and the retirement care costs and the social security costs. There's a lot more cost to having an employee than just what you pay them on their paycheck. And if you take that and you put it all into robotics, then it's just maintenance of the robots. And how many employees do you need to maintain how many robots? That it starts changing the equation a bit. And it's an interesting way we're going right now.
Very deflationary if that
Yeah,
happens.
it could be. I mean, like, a lot of people are like, well, I don't ever see the case where ditch diggers and pipe fitters and this, that, and the other can be robotics. But um, there again, I kind of start seeing it, especially if we have humanoid robots that can learn and start doing tasks as well as humans. Is that like next week? No. Is it next year? Certainly, probably not. But 10 years from now, it could start being a reality. It's kind of crazy when you look at the big picture vision of where this might all go.
Yeah, it's I think that those I mean I feel like restaurant burger flipping jobs, I feel like that can be done
Yeah, McDonald's in California is
first.
already testing robotic kitchen production
Yeah.
because of their crazy labor laws and bumping up that minimum wage to 20 something dollars an hour. Um, so McDonald's is already testing out robots because at that point, like it becomes cheaper to invest in the tech to replace workers with robots. It's
Yeah.
the unintended consequences of making higher minimum wage.
Yeah, that's the thing about minimum wage is I really just don't think any government initiative ever is it gives the intended consequences that it's aiming for, It's the government implements minimum wage, people are still not able to want
Zero is
minimum
still
wage.
zero. It doesn't matter how much you make the minimum wage. Zero is still zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just artificially inflates the top by
What did
providing
you
minimum wage.
what did you like about this gap setup?
There's the giant gap that gap down that it made, and we've made a move up and a retrace and a move up and a retrace, and that to me is a technical pattern for going higher.
Okay. Interesting. So just on the daily, really.
Yeah, it's a big daily pattern. Like all the way back to last summer, the retrace we did to the low here in April, then that move up and this current retrace to a higher low, that really sets it up to potentially explode higher. Especially when you look back at the low it made back in 2023, it's got a nice potential to expand this pattern higher. Um, Abercrombie and Fitch pulled their crap together and went on a giant run back in 2023, and yeah, it's ANF for Abercrombie and Fitch, and kind of topped out in 2024, and now somewhat lower. But I feel like Gap could turn itself around and do that same kind of move. Kind of bullish. Guess I feel like could do that too, but Guess is
Ah,
going private equity now.
oh, they are. I
Yeah,
did a penny stock trade on it last week or earlier. No, yeah, last week.
yeah, they're pinned at 16.95, I guess, the
Yeah.
buyout price, the go private price, right there.
I didn't even know Guess still existed.
I was bullish on Guess too for the same kind of big picture pattern
Yeah.
reason that I was on Gap. So it's just interesting. Like these industries kind of have their way of reinventing themselves and getting popular again. I think Gap could be next. Guess was another one on my list, but
What
going
about
private. So
this one?
American Eagle. I don't know. That chart pattern doesn't look as good to me. AEO, they don't, you know, that that low right there is a lower low than it was from 2022.
But they have Sydney Sweeney now.
Yeah. Well, advertising, I don't know. I don't really even pay attention to that. So maybe they could turn themselves around, but they're gonna have to start making higher highs and higher lows for me to pay attention here. So I need the chart pattern, the technical analysis to come around for me.
Yeah, Mark here is saying all the unemployed people from robots and minimum wage and everything are gonna have to learn how to trade.
Yeah. It's better for us, right?
Instead of learn to code, it's learn to trade.
Yeah.
That's the new mantra.
Yeah, learn to code didn't work out so well.
Yeah, you learn to code in 2021, you are hurting probably. I have multiple friends in the software industry that got laid off. It's crazy. It's uh
Oh.
it's not a good market for software engineers. They have the highest unemployment rate of any new college grad, actually.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty dismal when you look at it. The funny thing is, no matter how advanced AI gets, we're going to need advanced software engineers to manage that AI. But
Right. But people used
the
to get
AI, right?
$500,000 to do HTML pages.
But the AI right now is doing all the entry level jobs, and companies aren't hiring entry level people that are going to get trained up to be the advanced people, managers later on. So we're
Right.
going to create this knowledge hole problem that I can foresee playing out 30 years from now, where all these people are retiring and we don't have people to come in and take their place because we did away with the entry level jobs and the mid level jobs that, all these people would learn best practices and stuff like that along the way. And it just creates a knowledge gap problem later on.
It's a good point. Yeah. I mean, you have to learn somehow. I
Yeah,
just,
usually we learn by, that's why a lot of jobs have 5 years experience, 10 years experience, 15
yeah.
years experience as you get higher up in the ranks. And if you don't have like all of a sudden we won't have that experience because people won't have learned to code because that job's done by AI. So
Right. I mean, it's crazy what AI can do, man. You don't look like you used to get paid like 400 a year to build iPhone apps. I can do that now in 4 hours with Claude, right?
yeah.
It's insane. It was a man, the getting was good when it was good, but it's not the same industry as it was. It's not going to be the same industry probably ever again either. It's wild, man.
And some people say those that can manage AI, you need to learn AI management skills. But is that going to teach you best practices coding skills though? No, not really. And how are you going to know when the AI is just going down the wrong rabbit hole?
Right. You need the
I
first
mean,
principle of knowledge. I mean, that's why Mark here, you have a cool job, dude. Our man Mark is a design engineer with Ferrari. But yeah, what you're saying, creatives, people with I think creatives or people with deep, high level knowledge of the system are going to be the most in demand. But the grunt work is going to be replaced, right? So you
yeah,
got
I
to
mean,
position yourself that way.
and I'm an engineer too. I went to school. I have a degree in civil engineering. I have actually a registered licensed construction engineer in the state of Tennessee, and I have that whole engineering knowledge too. I did computer science as a minor and took graduate classes in AI and stuff like that back in the early 2000s. And it's funny to me how the stuff they're doing now is basically the same stuff I was working on in the early 2000s. It's just now that the computers are actually fast enough to do it. The computers weren't fast enough for a long time. Now they're
Right.
finally fast enough to actually do this stuff that we've been working on for the last 2 decades or 3 decades.
Yeah. I read this thing about how the human brain can some processing task produces 4 watts of like can do it in 4 watts of power, whereas AI needs like multiple times that of power. So
So
it's pretty interesting. They're not close to our brains yet.
So the way like the difference here, when you look at like a tensor core processor, there's thousands of cores, and they can run parallel processes on thousands of cores. But our human brains, there's billions of neurons that run simultaneously.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference is like the AI tasks have to be streamlined down into thousands of parallel tasks where our brains are, hundreds of thousands, millions, if not billions of simultaneously tasks, but our brains only work at like 100 hertz, 100 times a second they fire off. Whereas computers can go at gigahertz. So they can run those, thousands of tasks, trillions of times a second, whereas our brains can only, handle 100 hertz. So it's a different game a little bit.
Yeah.
That's part of the graduate level stuff. Sorry.
Human. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. I mean, you really do. That's kind of what quantum computers, right? Are they're all for like a chance to do that parallel processing at speed that human brains can do. That is that true? Is that am I saying that right?
Well, you think about it. So our, a processor, we talk about gigahertz processing, that's billions of times a second that we're doing calculations. Megahertz is millions of times, gigahertz billions of times, terahertz is trillions of times. Our brains only work at 100 cycles a second. So that's just hertz. So, these computers, if we're just talking about one single task that only took, had no parallel to it, the computer would outrun us tons of times. That's where they're really good at math. And, they can
Right.
do math problems way faster than we could ever do it.
Solve pi.
But, our brains are massively paralleled, and we're sitting here breathing, running our heart, doing all our, body systems at the same time. We're sitting here having a conversation and talking and looking at charts. And, AI can't just do that yet
Yeah.
until we build this massively parallel system. And that's where a lot of the research is going to actually be, I feel like, in the next, 10, 15 years, being able to parallel a whole bunch of these robot brains. NVIDIA just yesterday announced the new robot brain thing. I can't even pronounce the name of it.
We'll just call it robot brain. What about it?
It's just an interesting thing they announced yesterday. Why would they announce it right before their earnings? So, yeah, it's
86 billion neurons, according to Edgar. Pretty crazy.
the Jetson Thor robotics platform.
Oh, dude, they're gonna crush earnings, man. They're just gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna create another $17 billion next quarter from our like robot brain. It's just it. The market. Look at this. SPY sucks, dude. God, it sucks today. It's so. I mean, I like trading futures. It sucks. It's a horrible setup. Yesterday sucked too until the end of the day, but I don't normally trade on the end of the day. Today was like basically zero, or basically zero. It's just crazy, man. Where everybody's getting ready for NVIDIA, dude. I
Yeah.
just that's going to be the either that's going to be the kickoff or the kickdown. I think it's
Yeah,
going to
they
be.
released their $3,500 robot brain. So should be interesting to see
Can we
what gets
buy
done
one
with
and get
that.
it to give us trade ideas?
I don't know. It's a robot brain. I don't know. It's set up for controlling robotics more than it is for,
Oh,
being
it's like a
AI.
servos. Okay.
It's set up for, AI, these humanoid robot, or, maybe even the dog robots and the house robots and all that sort of thing that needs to take in input, process it, and then, control tasks. So
Yeah.
they're working on it. I mean, we're working toward, and this will be one of the iterations here.
Very interesting. So we have Lockheed. What do you think about Disney? I don't really see any besides like being off of its lows and having this NFL deal signed. Like chart wise, I don't see anything on Disney, but it feels like it has some room to run. But it's not a great chart, and I'm kind of concerned about like this candlestick here.
Let me see. I have Disney as potentially having bottom back there in April, but it needs to break out above this consolidation
That's
we've
what
had.
that's what I'm saying about the 124.42.
This goes all the way back to 2022, a high, a high, a high. We've been here
Yeah,
a few times before, right in that 125 area,
yeah,
rejecting. We're gonna have to get through it. And it was a resistance point before we made that big spike there in 2021.
yeah.
So this is a spot that may provide a little trouble. We may get a pullback from here before we can push through if Disney's going to go on to be more bullish.
Yeah, all right. Well, adding that to the watch list too. I don't know. It's just
Finding these resistance zones, man.
I know. Well, you watch it and it breaks through, and then you enter it, and then it goes back down to the resistance stuff. No, or maybe it goes up. Hopefully, it goes up. Uh,
I keep a whole list of potentially bullish stuff. Let's see. Maybe I'll find one we can talk about here.
BRCom is really interested in restaurant stocks. I think we're in restaurant apocalypse. I think
Yeah.
the slot bowl revolution has faded, has come and gone. And by slot bowl, I mean the Chipotle, the Tavas, where you just get, slot bowls. That's you just get some meat, some rice, some beans or something, some combo of those three, some veggies.
Yeah,
Uh,
the concept of that walk in and order at the counter, like that's kind of, is it played out? I mean, that's kind of like you
just
wonder.
I just think people don't care, man. It's like what it's like why is Chipotle or like Kava more so than Chipotle? It's like why is Kava $160?
So think about it this way too. Back in 2024, long ago, 2024 in November, you walk into any kava restaurant, you look around, you're like, this place is worth $55 million, this location.
Each location? Yeah.
Yeah, now you walk into a
Or,
kava location here in 2025, and it's worth $10 million.
you know, I think that's even overstating. I mean, maybe $10 million. I'm trying to think in like one of the high foot traffic areas. I see people carrying around. So Chipotle, so that's to my point though. Chipotle, there's a Chipotle and a Kava right down the street from my office, high foot traffic. I could easily see the Chipotle, 10 million. I just don't see the Cava being a $10 million place, even where I am. It's a pretty high pedestrian area. I think it maybe 5 million a year, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like, do you think it's worth it? That was my point. It was like when you walk in there
Yeah.
and you look at it, is it worth it? Is that worth, at 55, that was a pretty lofty that's how many years is that gonna have to take to return that kind of money?
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
it's
Chipotle is cheaper than Cava right now.
I haven't ever eaten at Kava.
Me
So
neither. I don't like Mediterranean food, to be honest. I do like Chipotle.
there
If you have to get fast food, I do think Chipotle is probably one of the healthier options.
Kava is still sitting at a 7.5% or 7.5x price to sales. So 7.5 years of all their sales. So that kind of tells you what a location generates right there.
Yeah. It's yeah, and look, I mean, this is there's so much more room to run on this thing. Like we are basically I mean, this here was I say, it's not perfect. You can see that, but this was
Yeah, break.
yeah, you have the resistance over here back in Monday or sorry, Monday. Back on April 2024. You have support here on September 24. You kind of have support here in March, April 2025. And we're just below that now. I mean, there's
Yeah,
no
you're pushing through, which leaves you the next high down there from 2023 that we can push down into.
yeah.
So,
So
you
this is a sucker.
know.
Eat and wings. What does Eat own? I don't actually know much about Eat. What do they own?
Eat is Brinker. That's
Yeah.
Macaroni Grill, Maggiano's. I've done restaurant design work for Brinker.
Oh, okay. Uh,
I designed a Maggiano's in Troy, Michigan.
they had the top hat on their logo, right?
Let's see.
Magic
I'm trying to find their brands. Let's see. They've been around since 1973. Yeah, Maggiano's and they were Macaroni Grill. I don't see their other brands now.
Chili's, BR saying.
Yeah, Chili's. Yeah, that's another one. I was trying to find their list of brands. Usually that's right on the front page, but
All
it's
right,
not, man.
so weekly here, we're basically we have double topped at 187.75. Not great right there, 187. We're at 152. these are it's so these restaurants, right? Chili's, Maggiano's, Macaroni Grill. They're a weird segment of the restaurant market. They're not McDonald's, they're not fast food, they're not like higher end, they're like low middle food. It's like what they're kind of like they are kind of expensive. It's like you'll go out there for a day for a date or something, or for a family outing. It's like Applebee's. It's like where does that fall? And I'm thinking about that as like through the lens of like what's the consumer feeling right now, and if they don't seem like they're doing super solid. So what does that mean for these companies? I kind of feel like it's not great.
Yeah, I mean that you think about the customer they serve too is the middle, kind of like the lower middle class type, casual eat out type place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition in that segment. You look at bigger like Olive Garden, Applebee's,
Yeah.
and are those brands places you would go these days? And for more and more people my age, I think you're like, maybe not. And that also, like, we're feeling stressed. Food prices are up. Do you get a good
Right.
value for your dollar?
That's what I'm
And
saying.
it's maybe this is it's like kind of like you said, we're in this restaurant apocalypse type situation right here. And when does it resolve? I don't know. I don't have an answer for it necessarily. So
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like. I mean, I don't really see the. I mean, we've had two double tops this year. You know, we're below two of the EMAs. This week has been solid, but I mean, right now, I mean, we're look at this consolidation pattern. It's like a tight consolidation pattern. Honestly, I feel like this puppy could probably go either way. I'm probably going to say it's going to go to the downside, but it could. I mean, it's a really just
yeah,
nothing
this
but
is one of those like
five weeks.
if it breaks out here, it could go higher. And the pattern shows, after 3 to 6 months of consolidation, we break out to a new high, it can outperform the S&P, but it's got to actually do that, not go
Right.
lower.
Right. And then you're going to have like, I mean, whatever, if it breaks out 160 to 180 some, 190
You
some,
got
it's a good run, but you have this hard stop coming up here that's already hit twice this year. So
you've got things like cake also that are sitting there triple topping. And triple top's not really a pattern, but it is sitting there kind of triple topping.
yeah, I know. Why is a triple bottom a pattern but not a triple top? It doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna go to the TA arbiters and then tell them to make triple tops. Go to the algos, tell them they need to start looking at triple tops.
And then, Wingstop has been a pretty fair performer off the lows.
So this is different though, right? Wingstop is completely different segment than
Yeah, this is like fast food type stuff. It's not order
yeah.
at the counter and get a bowl of slop.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we're pretty good again, but we do have a consolidation.
And it is lower highs when you look at like the monthly chart. It's definitely lower highs. We're not breaking out yet.
Yeah.
Could it go higher? Sure. Does it have to from here? No, we could with this lower high, we can accelerate to the downside. And we could be in food apocalypse here, food apocalypse. Uh, Even things like McDonald's are showing signs of stress,
Yeah,
and McDonald's
they
has the
didn't
same kind of pattern that this Wing has. MCD.
they,
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't I mean I guess they had good earnings, but they did what didn't they sell off after earnings? I remember they kind of sucked. Let's see. I guess they were okay. I thought they had worse earnings, but it's all the robots they're doing.
I mean, they can perform on, replace. McDonald's says they're a real estate company that happens to sell hamburgers. So I don't know. Like, is that their real play? You know,
Right,
so,
right.
and, you look at Cracker Barrel just getting obliterated right now, too, like
Yeah,
competes in
dude,
that same segment.
bro, we played some puts. I saw that like in the aftermarket close whenever that news broke, and I was like, we're just gonna go puts today or tomorrow. We got like a 50% in like 30 minutes. It was
And like yesterday they were trying to do damage control, release this giant press release acknowledging all the bad feelings and whatever. but they weren't going to change a dang thing about their strategy. So it's just kind of like throwing a pie in the face of everybody, like, screw y'all.
Go
I
woke, go broke, dude. Cracker Barrel
mean,
is going down. Unfortunately, we always used to go down to Hilton Head, for Hilton Head Island for my family vacation every summer. We'd stop at Cracker Barrel. I always like me and when I was like a kid, me and my cousins would just like play around in the store. It was amazing. But RIP, it'll be sad. But no, but dude, I don't know. It's just funny. It's like, what is up with the sterilization? Look at a McDonald's logo, look at a Burger King logo from the 90s. Now look at them. It's all the same, you know, sterile new logos that don't connote any value or feeling or emotion at all. It's just
yeah,
Cracker Barrel's going the same way.
it's just horrible. Just, but they're just getting obliterated like that. I mean, I don't know. There's a whole saying about it, Not trying to be
Yeah.
political, but it's like when you go middle of the road, you're going to get middle of the road results.
Yeah.
But speaking of this opportunity though, Bud is actually trying to turn itself around here, chart wise. Finally, so many years
Dude,
later.
If America's back, Budweiser is gonna be back, dude. Bud Light, I
So
mean. Yeah.
this one potentially, I mean, look at that, higher highs, higher lows across there. We are on a pullback, so it
What's
does
up with
prevent
these
opportunity.
earnings? What's up with these earnings? Why isn't it highlighted?
I'm not sure like what the deal with that is. That one has they took off all the prior earnings how they did.
Yeah, I don't, it's weird.
Anyway, that one has potential to get out of this funk. It has a nice move up and a retrace, and technically could perform. It's a set of higher lows, higher highs, potential, but I need to see it fill that gap it did on that last earnings.
You wanted to fill, I would probably, so would you wait until the gap is filled, or would you go try and wait for this high to be broken?
For me, the initial interest would be on a gap fill.
Yeah.
And then to confirm it's going to go higher, I need to see it break a higher high and then potentially back test that high that it breaks out and keep going. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of trend pullback continuation. I need to see it make new highs, pull back, retest, go new highs again, pull back, retest, go new highs again. That's kind of the age old. Yeah, it's funny, we talk about this being an American brand, but they're actually purchased and owned by international interests. So
Of course, like most things are. But
we
yeah,
just keep selling out
unfortunately.
America.
I know, dude. Oh, fudge.
All for sale. All for sale.
Yeah. I think foreign real estate should be, or I think real estate should be, foreigners should be excluded from owning real estate. Personally, I think that would, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but man, I don't see like, you can't have like Chinese nationals who live in Beijing buying up apartment buildings in New York City. And it's just like part of the reason the housing supply shortage is because of that. Lots of people play in the real estate, in the real estate market of the US. Bodine misses the old Budweiser frogs. I actually don't remember those. It might have been before my time. It feels like I do remember it, but I can't like put a picture of it in my head.
But wise.
Okay, yeah, maybe I do remember that now. Maybe I do remember that.
From it's back from the mid '90s or whatever. I think
I
it
would be
was.
curious, what does Budweiser own on the seltzer market? Are they doing the seltzer stuff? Because I feel like that, if depending on what they own on that on that part of it, um,
You know what's really interesting is that Gen Zs don't drink alcohol. Like their
yeah,
alcohol um, usage and everything is like 90% down from any prior generation at their same
yeah,
point in their age or whatever.
yeah, it's
They
crazy. It's
the
virtually non-existent.
Yeah, and it like so the alcohol companies are having a really hard time trying to figure it out, like how to appeal to the new, how to get those hooked into buying their product and what products we're going to sell to them since they don't buy any alcohol at all. They don't, it's not like they just don't buy beer, they don't buy liquor, they don't buy anything. So
Yeah. It's a
I
very
guess,
interesting social trend. Like, I wonder how it's Blake saying he doesn't drink. I guess you're a Gen Z. How old are you, Blake? You're Gen Z? You're a Zoomer?
yeah, Blake, you can hop on here and talk to us.
I'm a
To get
millennial.
your IT problem fixed.
Yeah, I've been troubleshooting this. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I am Gen Z. I'm only 26, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my oldest daughter right there, 26.
Mm-hmm. Call me a Zoomer. I'm not a millennial, so you know.
Jeffrey's a millennial. You're an older millennial. I'm a millennial
I
too.
actually caught the tail end of the Xers, man. Like I'm
Oh,
right
you're
in
an
there.
X.
Yeah.
Yep.
That explains it. Just
Yep.
kidding. uh,
I mean that don't care at age, like and just take care of myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
But
Yeah. I
I,
don't know
another
what it
one,
is.
another one in the same sector, play. This combines the drinking and the restaurant for the same sector.
Who?
This one's beat down too. I mean,
Yeah. But like, what's the? I don't know. I just like does Dave and Buster's? They're not McDonald's, right? They own. They don't. I don't think they own the. I don't know what is the bull case, right? I mean, I know we're not thinking we're looking at technical analysis. I'm just wondering. They don't own the real estate. They rent it out in the malls. So I'm just
yeah.
wondering.
So how do they come around? They're beholden to leases, and
Yeah.
leases. Some places say their lease is valuable, like J.C. Penney's and whatever says our leases are valuable, but that's really just liabilities.
Yeah.
They're not really you don't own the store, so you don't own the building, you don't own the property, so it's not really an asset. You're just
No.
going to pay on the lease, and so it's really a liability. And I guess it's just frame of mind. So how does where's the bull case on play over going lower here? So I don't know. I've thought this was an interesting this whole restaurant sector is a story of haves and have-nots. If you're performing, you're doing really well. If you're not performing, you're getting punished, like brutally punished. Hello, Cracker Bro. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I
Talk
saw
about a
this.
blunder.
Yeah, dude. I saw this crazy someone posted on X about this charge just about the declining revenue per quarter for like Cava, CMG, Chipotle, and one of the other slot bowl restaurants. Um, but dude, I mean it's just like people are just not feeling it, dude. They're also
well, look at Jack.
Jack in
They
the
own
Box,
they own Cadobo, or however you say it, Cadoba.
Cadova, yeah. I never, Cadova's just not that good.
That's the
Too
one
dry.
closest to me. I've eaten there. I haven't really eaten at Chipotle, but I've eaten at Cadoba because it's close to my house.
I like
Uh,
Moe's. Moe's.
I
Moe's.
like Moses pretty good too. Like I like the salsa bar.
Yeah, I'll get Moe's in the airport.
I've never
Um,
had Moe's. Is that like Chipotle or is it like what is
yeah,
Moe's?
yeah, it's
Same
like
concept. Same concept. Burrito, burrito bowl, burrito, wrap, whatever.
get
Mm.
some queso. They
Oh
have
yeah.
queso though. Chipotle doesn't have queso. Like not really, like the melted queso. Doesn't Moe's have? I remember Moe's has the. It's been a while, but they have like melted queso you can put on your thing.
Let's see who owns Moe's. Go to Foods.
BR Com loves Moe's. He's a Moe's. He moseys over to Moe's on Mondays. No, that doesn't make sense. He moseys to Moses. Moseys to Moe's.
Looks
Moses
like
to Moe's.
looks like Auntie Anne's, Carvel, Cinnabon, Jamba Juice, McAllister's Deli, Moe's, and
Oh, interesting.
uh
That's it.
Schlotsky's
This is
is
some
all owned.
interesting by Jack.
They're owned by Go To Foods. It's a private capital group. Rourke, I guess Rourke Capital owns them, and
Hmm.
that's all the brands they run together. So
Interesting. That Schlotsky's, man, I haven't. That's a blast from the past.
Oh,
I haven't
that
heard.
is a
I haven't,
blast from
yeah,
the
I haven't heard
past.
Schlotsky's. What about Yum? What do they own? They own like,
that's KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut,
yeah, okay,
fast food stuff.
yeah. These guys kind of suck. Look at this. Just a lot of stuff happening to go nowhere for Yum here.
Yeah, Yum C potentially pulling out of the bottom, which is their China holdings. But again, not really doing much. So it's
Yeah.
this whole industry is like a restaurant industry, a brand of a thing of haves and have-nots.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it's like what is the man, it's just hard. What's the growth? What's the growth for Chipotle? What do they do? Right? Like where is the sales revenue growth? Like what's I
And
just
the only one in this whole segment I feel like is potentially doing well, DRI, Garden, that owns like Olive Garden and then
what else do they own besides Olive Garden? Because that's Olive Garden is some like, people go out to eat, it has the
let's see,
curb appeal.
Darden Brands.
Longhorn, Cheddar's,
Yeah.
Yard House, the
Yeah,
Capitol
they own
Grill,
quite a bit.
Eddie
Uh,
V's, which is a huge seafood restaurant.
Looks like
Red
Bahama Breeze.
Lobster at one
Yep.
point.
Yeah, they used to own Red Lobster, but they sold that out.
Can't blame them.
TX Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse, man.
Yeah,
I feel
they
like
actually
I
they
feel like
actually own Roost Chris too. Roost Chris Steakhouse. So
who
Darden,
Darden.
Olive Garden, Longhorn, Yard House, Roost Chris, Cheddar's. Uh, I don't know what that is. I can't. The Capitol Grill, Chewy's, Season
Um,
52, Eddie V's, Bahama Breeze.
so I feel like they're in a much better position than like well, Yum's probably okay, even though it's not really doing anything. What was the previous one? The one was like there was two of the tickers back before Yum. What were we looking at?
Oh man.
Pull,
Someone tell me.
going.
BR.com. What were we looking at? It was
We were looking at Play,
wait, maybe
Play
that
and
was
Cake, and let's see.
I'm
no, it
scrolling
was
up in
one
the
of the
chat.
holding companies. Oh, here it is. Oh, wait. Is this yeah, here we go. I guess I have a
We had Eat down there in Brinker.
oh Jack. Jack in the Box.
Jack, yeah, Jack.
Maybe.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that, just getting destroyed right there.
That's horrible. Yeah, restaurants, I don't know. I feel like Ruth Chris though. I feel like you have Olive Garden, Ruth Chris, that's a better place to be than if you're Chipotle. I almost feel like Chipotle. I feel like Chipotle, I feel like Kava. They were revolutionary in their the thing they did back in 2000. I don't know when they started, 2008. I just remember seeing them about 2012, 2000. Yeah, I mean 2010. Roughly,
Well, it's kind of like Starbucks too. Like Starbucks was all the rage, and now it's kind of played out. It's like no big deal. Like
yeah.
it's no big thing. So
So
it's
this
like,
that's the thesis. No big these things are no big deal anymore.
yeah, it's not that like you can go get a burrito bowl anywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
even Taco Bell's offering like burrito bowls at some places, some locations. It's like
What?
it's not like a make it your own. They cater it, but you can get a burrito bowl at Taco Bell now. So
That's the new trend, huh? The burrito
yeah.
bowl.
Right. So if they're doing it, like, I mean, Chipotle has better ingredients than Taco Bell, but it's just, look, this was a thing, right? People were like the burrito, the bowl, the slot bowl revolution came, and now it's like going away, and it's not new anymore. And I think that's like a what. So what's the growth prospect for CMG for Kava? I just don't see it.
We see the same thing play out in food all the time. Like we had Froyo's, like frozen yogurt. That kind of was a hot thing, and then it all went away. Then we had like Cold Stone Creamery type stuff. There were a bunch of
Sweet
those
green.
competitors.
Look at
They
this.
all they all like went away.
It's like a
Sweet green
And
fad or something.
salad bowls, sweet green salad bowls. Anyone? I mean,
yeah,
they
this
started
bowl.
they started in DC, right? They're huge. Look at that. They were up real flying high. Now they're
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Imagine
it's
if you
like
bought the top.
What'd you say?
I said, imagine if you bought the top. Oh my gosh, you're hurting.
yeah.
That's down like a lot.
Yeah, you're really hurting. But again, like
Uh,
why is Sweet Green $44?
that's what I'm saying. Like, what? Be down so much.
But why isn't it down to $5?
Well, I think it's going there. I think that's about probably what it's worth. I
That's where
mean,
it's
geez.
heading.
What was their revenues?
What is sweet green?
Sweet Green is like a salad bowl place. So
Oh no.
yeah, so they started in DC actually. It was pretty interesting. They were like a Georgetown University MBA
So they
pro.
lose money. Their price to earnings is, negative, and their price to sales is 1.5.
Yeah. Look at this. Every single quarter, they've just lost money since 2024. I mean, they've had,
And
since going public in 2022, they've had one profitable quarter.
yeah, they may be good at producing a good salad bowl, but they're horrible at managing a stock price, is what this says.
Yeah.
here.
Well, also, why do these companies have to go public, man? Some companies should just be private. I get that you want the capital, but it's just not worth it. It's not. I mean, I don't know everything that goes into it, but just like high level, it seems like I would much Etsy. Why is Etsy public? Etsy can just be, I feel like it should just be a private company. I don't know. This just doesn't seem like that much. Like Apple should be a public company. They create a technology that changed the world. Etsy sells lets people sell knickknacks. I don't know. But that's my thought. Hey, we're
Yeah,
going
Etsy was all the rage back till 2021, and now it's fading into oblivion, maybe.
I know. I know. We're gonna see if these puts pay off that we took earlier today. With the de minimis exemptions coming in on Friday as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'll be interesting. We did a party a few years back and ordered stuff that I guess they were table centerpieces that were made in Ukraine off Etsy right before Russia invaded Ukraine, and we got them like the week of the party, and it took like 3 months for them to get shipped out of Ukraine after Russia like invaded. It was just crazy,
oh wow.
and that's my Etsy story.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
Etsy's kind of like a lot like eBay, except just more artist catered, I feel like.
Well, that's right, but it's so neat. That's my thing. It's like eBay is makes sense. It's like you can sell anything. Like Etsy's just so
Yeah.
narrow in some senses because it is that just creator, the sort of knick-knack focused niche thing. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's really niche down compared to eBay. So I don't
I
know.
gotta run. Good talking to you, Jeffrey. I did want to show
Yeah.
people. So we've been talking about a lot of patterns, double tops, triple tops, triple bottoms, wedges, anything. But there's one that I like to trade. It's called the X-ray pattern, and I'm gonna show you how it works. You want to tee that up, Blake?
Yes, sir. You got it. Here, let me. Just bear with me here. I'm on my other computer, so I gotta
Yeah, sure, of course, man.
find the right screen.
I'll
Yeah,
select.
I'm kind of interested about more of these patterns here. Hope this is interesting.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be
I,
good. You guys are gonna
I
love it.
I hope so too. Can you spot the X?
Okay, here we go.
All
I'm gonna
right,
start
see ya.
this.